D plus D PC. Hello and welcome to D plus D PC. I'm Dad.
I'm Daughter.
And we are so excited because it's our very first episode. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for tuning in.
We have a good one for you today. We're going to be building a budget PC, about a $600 build, although these parts regularly go on sale on Amazon as low as, I'd say, $500 for all of this. And this is using the Apevia Prism case. This is a aquarium style case. It's going to look real sharp when we're done, real pretty. This is on the AM4 platform, the legend itself, building with a Ryzen 5 processor. And we're going to be walking you through, step by step, how to build it, alternatives if you don't have some of these available in your market, and really trying to make sure you understand the process so you know exactly how to get the most bang for your buck out of a system like this. You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. So be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell button, and share this link.
Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about our components today. We are going to be building this on the AM4 platform. This is one of the most upgradable and economical bang for your buck platforms ever made. This is a B450M A2 from Asus. This is their Prime motherboard series. Has Aura Sync, so if you love RGB, and we've got some great RGB in this case, you're going to love this motherboard. It's also very inexpensive. This motherboard can be found pretty much any day of the week for around $80 on Amazon and Newegg. And to go inside of that motherboard and power our PC, we have the Ryzen 5 4500. This is a 6-core, 12-threaded processor. It's going to run everything you can throw at it at reasonable settings. And these are currently on Amazon for $68. And for $68, less than 70 bucks, you cannot beat the performance of this processor.
And what would a good gaming PC be without a good graphics card? Today we have with us a RX 6600 by Radeon, and it has 8 gigabytes of RAM on it. It was $200 on Amazon, and it's all white to match our all white PC build. It's about the same as an NVIDIA graphics card that is a RTX 3060, and it plays games great on a 1080p high refresh rate. You can play it really well on Fortnite, Minecraft, COD Warzone.
You can even take this thing up to 4K at low settings and play AAA games at respectable settings around 60 frames per second. This thing's not going to let you down unless you're trying to get 4K out of it, which is not going to happen. We're going to continue with our all-white aesthetic with this really cool Timetech NVMe 2280 SSD. This is a 1 terabyte model with a heatsink, and this one is coming in at only $65 on Amazon and Newegg right now. Great speeds, really going to take advantage of the fast speeds that our motherboard is capable of, that our processor is capable of, good read and writes, and a terabyte is going to allow you to install, I don't know, about half of Call of Duty, roughly 1.5 Fortnites. The games are getting huge these days, so 1 terabyte is really the smallest that we are recommending anybody go with on a new build.
Here we have 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's an RGB RAM from T-Force, and it's a 2x8 gigabyte kit at 3200 megahertz, and it was $38 from Amazon.
Awesome. Lots of all-white aesthetic pieces here. We're just going to round it out with a few other parts that we would recommend for this price point. We're going to power this thing, providing it 600 watts of power. This is our Aries Game AGW power supply. This is 80 plus bronze, and it is honestly not the prettiest power supply you've ever seen, but the nice thing about this case is everything's going to be hidden in the back, and we are going to be using sleeve cables to keep that all white aesthetic rather than trying to pay well over twice as much for a bright white power supply. This one only cost us a grand total of $40 on Amazon, so very affordable, and works just fine with 80 plus bronze. We're going to be using those sleeve cables we talked about. Pick this up for $10 on Amazon. Really pick any brand you like. Can't go wrong. Look for good ratings. We don't want to start any fires. We are going to be cooling our PC, again, all white with the Assassin King from Thermalright. This is a 120 millimeter fan. It's 8 RGB, so it's going to sync up with our motherboard using AuraSync and get all the fans going at the same time. Again, keep everything nice and pretty and clean. And then that is pretty much it. Are you ready to build this thing?
Yeah!
No, wait a minute. We forgot the star of the show. This is the Apevia Prism White. This is a fish tank style case, meaning that we have clear side panels in the front and on the side. All the work and all the hiding is going to be done in the back. And we got 3 RGB fans, 2 up on the front side here, and then 1 behind, so that we have intake and outflow of that hot air. We are going to be very excited to build. This is the first time we're building this case together, because there's a lot of room in the back. So this is a very easy case to build in for beginners. I'd say it's like a skill level 3 out of 10. And now we can get into it.
All right.
All right. Okay, welcome back. We are going to be starting our build now. I'm excited. You excited?
Yeah.
All right. So, got our motherboard. This is the Asus Prime B450M-A2. This has AuraSync on it for all the pretty colors. And I really like this as a budget motherboard. The motherboard has, it's AM4, so it's going to support any of our Ryzens through the 5000 series. And it has 4 DIMM slots, so we can put in our 2 RAMs today, 2 RAM modules, and then we'll add 2 in the future if we want to upgrade this. The other nice thing is this was only $80 on Amazon, so it's very affordable. It is a mini ATX, so as it's the smaller ATX form factor, it's going to fit in a lot of the smaller cases. Not the ITX cases, which are the absolute smallest ones, but this is going to fit in a variety of cases. If you have an ATX, a full-size ATX, or even eATX case for some reason, if you got like a server case, it'll still fit. It's just going to be really, really small compared to the rest of the components. So we want to use a case that is also MATX. Today we have the Ryzen 5 4500. This is a great chip. This one here is 6 core, 12 threads. It's 4.1 gigahertz max boost, so this is going to go really fast. It's got good single core performance, good multi-core performance. So this is going to be our way of getting some really good solid gaming and multitasking done, depending on what you want to use it for. It's going to run pretty much everything very well. And this processor was only $68 on Amazon when we purchased it. So very inexpensive, very awesome little beast of a processor. When you're installing a Ryzen processor on AM4, you're going to be looking for, and I'll make sure you can see it. Can you see a little triangle right there?
On
On the corner?
the corner. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so there's a little triangle right here on this corner. And that little triangle needs to line up with the little triangle on the motherboard. So if we look on the corners here, we are going to see one spot where that triangle is going to be obvious. And we're going to see other spots where we do not see that triangle. And you'll kind of be able to see that it lines up a certain way. There are 4 little gaps in the pins back here that will match up with the 4 gaps in the motherboard as well. And then we're going to go triangle for triangle. So we've got our little space there, got our little space here. If it's fitting correctly, it's just going to pop right into place. You'll be able to give it a little wiggle, and it's not going to move. And then we're just going to clip it into place with a little arm here. Okay, everything's nice and in place. Clip it down. Okay, now our processor is in place. No bent pins. Just want to be careful as you seat it down that it's in the right direction. The other thing we're going to be looking at here is our mounting system. Now, right now, we have our standard bracket. That works really well with our usual stock fan that comes with any Ryzen processor, most of them anyway. And that's going to look like this here. Now this is a really good stock fan, much better than the Intel ones that were around the same time. And it looks nice. It's all black sleeve cable, and it's going to run up through our Ryzen 5s really, really well. But honestly, we wanted to go with something white. We wanted to go with something a little bit higher capacity, so we're going to go with that. So we are going to use our Thermalright. The Thermalright Assassin King 120 SE White ARGB, meaning we can change the colors on it. So first thing we're going to have to do is take off our mounting brackets. And these are going to be on there kind of tight. So just don't be afraid to put a little bit of pressure to get that little screw moving at first. Just be careful. Now some people like to use little electric screwdrivers on these. I'm not a huge fan, just because if you're not careful, you can strip out the threads on things. But I do like the ones where you can kind of twist from the handle, like this one here. And this little screwdriver kit I think was like $10 on Amazon. They're not expensive. Just look for tech screwdriver or a mini screwdriver kit and you'll find exactly what you're looking for. And that'll help us take off those two brackets. Now, we got the bare board without the brackets, and we have these two brackets that are supposed to go on an AM4 board. These are going to end up sort of facing each other, and these are going to be on either side here, and they will allow us to mount our cooler, which has a special bracket here that's going to kind of flare out to the sides. And notice that we're going to need to set up our special bracket in order to make that work. So, let's start by mounting that here. VoiceOver Dad here. First we installed our air cooler, the Thermalright Assassin King 120 SE, mounted on top of our CPU. Don't forget about the thermal paste, which I usually add as a pea-sized blob in the center of the CPU. This usually spreads out the paste evenly as the pressure from tightening down the CPU cooler is applied. Adding the fan is simple, just a couple of clips that attach to the sides, and plugging in the fan to the CPU fan header on the board, which is usually on the top. It's important to always mount the fan so the cable is facing up and towards the motherboard for easy cable management. The RAM is easiest to install. There's a notch that is off-center, and you line that up with the notch in the RAM slot. Push it in with even pressure on both sides until you hear the satisfying click. Refer to the motherboard manual if you have 2 sticks and 4 RAM slots. You'll either need to be in the first and third or second and fourth slots to get dual channel support. Next is another really easy installation, the NVMe SSD. Remove the motherboard heatsink if there is one. Also, this is often under where the GPU will sit, so make sure you do the NVMe before the graphics card. You slide it in at about a 45-degree angle until it's all the way seated, then use the tiny screw that came with your motherboard to tighten it down to the screw hole that lines up with the end of the NVMe SSD. And you're all done with the motherboard outside of the case. Okay, so we got our motherboard into our case. In this case, again, it's a Micro ATX. This is the Apevia Prism case in the white, and this is the aquarium style that everybody likes, the fish tank style. Currently $80 on Amazon, but you can get it as low as $60 sometimes on sale. So really a good one to keep an eye out for if you like this style of like the glass on both sides. We've taken the glass off and we've taken the rear panel off. We're going to be routing our power supply. Now, our power supply, because we're trying to save a little bit of money on this and make this a budget build, not going with anything fancy. It's a 600 watt AGW power supply, and this is nice and small and compact. It's going to fit in our case just fine. But then we're going to have the unfortunate challenge of trying to hide a bunch of cables in a fish tank. So that'll be fun at the end. Once we've got our power supply into place, I'm going to rejoin you in just a second, and I will show you where the power supply cables are going to be routed, how we're going to plug it in, and then we'll get our GPU in. All right, welcome back. So a couple of things. We investigated a little hiccup that we had with the motherboard, which is we didn't have the right kind of header for our ARGB Assassin King CPU cooler. So we went ahead and picked up this fun little ARGB controller hub that allows us to plug that in, get everything synced up, get everything on the board, so that'll help. The other thing we wanted to do, because this is our all-white build, we also picked up some sleeve cables, and these are all white. This cable kit was about 15 bucks, and this was about $10 on Amazon. So we're going to clean up the cables. We're going to make sure that it's all white inside, so it looks all nice and clean. And we're going to get everything plugged in through our new fan header, so that all of our lights are pretty and flashing at the same time, same color, and our mod cables are installed as well. So we will be back after we get that all installed to talk about the specs of the PC and what kind of performance we can expect, and then we'll test some games. Okay, through the magic of editing, we are back. What we've done is we've put our extended sleeve cables on. We have got all our fans going. We have installed our graphics card, and we have installed Windows. We did that from a USB. Honestly, not that difficult to do. I'll have some information on how you can install Windows from home in just a minute. What we're going to do next, we're going to go ahead and load some launchers on here, put some games on, run some benchmarks, and tell you what kind of performance you can expect from this PC. Back with you in a minute. And welcome back. As you can see, we benchmarked this PC. We got all the lights, all the cables, all nice and white now, super clean. I'm excited by what we were able to pull off for about $600, and I think you can build this PC very easily at home as well. What we ended up getting, over 120 frames per second, COD Warzone, Ultra FSR 1080p. Then we got Fortnite Performance Mode 1080p. We're over 144, so you got that higher refresh if you've got a good monitor. And Black Myth Wukong was at 63 frames per second on high native 1080p, so it'll run those AAA games as well. What are you excited to run on this PC?
I think Fortnite will run really well on here, honestly.
I think so too. I think honestly you can run whatever you like, and if you want to run some of those harder to run games, newer games like Doom: The Dark Ages, you're just going to want to bump those settings down a little bit, but or use FSR. Anyway, I think this is a great way to go if you're building your first PC at home. Super easy build, beautiful case, really like the Apevia Prism case, and it was really easy to work in. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you in the next one.